Hi everyone, welcome back to Squishy Exclusive. So this is an interesting one today. I've got these pots of fabric paint left over from previous squishy makeovers, and I decided to try and use them up because if you leave them too long, even if they're in pots, they will dry out and it's wasted. So I had a look at some squishies and I found a nice candidate in this one. It's nice and squishy. It's a bit strange that they've added the detail of the face and a red strawberry and yet left the rest of the toppings plain white. I don't know why they would do that. But anyway, let's get started. I'm just trimming down a couple of the seams which are sticking out slightly. And then, as always, going in with some sandpaper. This just roughens up the surface a bit and helps the fabric paint to stick when you are painting it. I've given it a white base coat, and as you can see, I'm just holding it with a clip because it's quite small and fiddly. I decided this might be a good idea to try, and then I can just cover more of the squishy with the paint and leave it to dry by hanging up the clip. So I'm going in with this kind of muted orange colour for the cake. I think it's a cake. We'll say it's a cake. And as you can see, it's got really good coverage. I'll leave that to dry and then give it another coat or two. I'll just see how it looks when it's dry. So once that's dry, you can see the colour has darkened very, very slightly. This always happens when you are using fabric paint, so bear that in mind. Now I'm contemplating the toppings. I ended up with these three colours and I'm just painting the leaves a nice deep green colour. Again, I think there were two coats on that just to get in all the nooks and crannies. Next is the yellow just for the middle of the flower. And while that's drying, I'm going to use this purple colour on the strawberry because it's not going to be a strawberry, it's going to be a blueberry. Again, I'm just using up the colours that I have, so that's where the idea came from for that really. So now I'm starting on the flower with this hot pink. I did have blue fabric paint spare as well and I considered that, and then I thought it would just be a bit too muted on the top with the purple and the dark green, and I just wanted something that pops on the top. I'm not being too careful about this. As you can see, I'm just kind of piling it on, but you know, it looks okay. It's a bit dodgy there in the middle, that needs fixing. So I have had to wait for it to dry completely now so I can fix the middle with the yellow, because if I tried to do it while the paint was wet, the pink paint, it would just be an absolute smudgy mess. So there we go, sorted. Now the reason I wasn't too careful with the edges of those toppings is because we're going to have a nice thick layer of white icing all the way around the top of our cake. So straight from the tube, I'm just going to start adding it on. You can see there is a raised part on the squishy, which is meant to be the icing. And I'm following that slightly, but then adding my own extra bits and drips and this and that, just to make it look unique and the way that I want it to be. And now it's really starting to come together. That white icing just really makes everything pop. So here was the squishy before the makeover. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just a bit boring, and I didn't need a big face on it either. It was just perfect for a squishy makeover. And here is the finished result. It's so pretty, the colours just work so well, which is amazing since I was just using up some extra fabric paint that I had left over from previous squishy makeovers. It's so squishable, it's nice and shiny. As I was looking at it though, it was missing one thing. I felt like the top of the blueberry needed something because it's just a purple blob at the moment, So I'm just using this bead fabric paint to add a few dots on the top, and then it looks even more like a blueberry. And luckily I have this purple that I could just use straight from the tube just to add the small dots, but I could have used a dotting tool as well. And that's it. I absolutely love my new little creation, and it will be getting pride of place with my other squishies. More squishy makeovers on the way. It's bye from me, Squishy Exclusive. Bye!